unlocked him fully yet.
Yeah, the only person I feel like has actually somewhat unlocked Toa is Thomas.
Thomas, yeah.
Yeah, but only in EX3 because Toa's a lot different in this game.
You mean Revolution 2?
Is that the one we were playing that had him?
Yeah.
There's one.
Yeah, because he's not in EX3.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah, he's not in any of the Japanese games.
Interesting. All right, so we're back with how to master Naruto characters, and I'm gonna do Tenten.
Just leave it to me.
Onko.
Anko? Sure.
I don't know why.
How exciting.
I don't know which one I was going to do Anko either.
I was trying to decide if it was going to be one of you two. Because I kind of can.
Yeah,
but
none of us really played it that much.
Right.
All right, so Tenten has almost no defense. I just need to kind of say that at the beginning. She's very, very lacking in the defense department. She's another, I guess, called tricky character because she has a lot of tools and items like Sai that you can have at your advantage. So that can make her either mid-range, close-up, or far range, and it kind of depends on what moves you're doing. So, like for her B moves or her weak moves, she's going to be punching. Now that combo is really useless, but we'll talk about what you can do with it here in a minute. So that's her normal B combo. So it's just 3 hits. Her down B is kind of like a sweep, and it's only 1 hit. So that's not great either.
Not off to a great start.
Not off to a great start. So her back B is kind of like a rush, but it doesn't have that many super armor frames, honestly. It can be interrupted really easily. Her mid-air B move goes straight down at a slight angle, like very, very slight angle forward. But she also steps back when she's done, too. So a lot of her positioning is based on her like stepping back or stepping forward. Let's see here. Her forward A, she throws out 2, like, I don't know, 2 swords, I guess. But it's really weird, the spacing on it. She'll throw them in front, which doesn't really seem that useful, but if you hit A afterward, she'll attack with it. Then she'll pull out another one. Talk about that here in a minute. Up B is a good move to kick them far away, but the hitbox on up B is weird.
Yeah.
It is really weird. If they're moving at all, like forward or towards you, or they're making their hitbox smaller by going down or anything, you'll whiff. It's horrible. I think Yu-Gao's the only other one that's even harder to hit with.
Yeah.
But if you manage to hit with it, you can do 3 hits. You can end with A, where it does the chain, but the problem is the chain doesn't go as far as the kick range, so it only works on a small stage. On a big stage, you can't hit them with that unless you're like right up against them. Let's see here. Forward B. Forward B can be comboed into A also, where she'll pull out the chain. But again, it only works on small stages or if they're up against the wall.
Yeah, I don't see that one very often.
And if you hit him with both moves on her, like if you're really close to him and you hit him with, there's kind of like 2 kicks, but it's only under weird circumstance that the 2 kicks hit. If you hit him with that, you'll immediately drive him into the ground. The combo's over. You can't do anything with that. But it's only under weird circumstances that happens. So, let's see her mid-air A. She pulls out this giant sword, which you can then press A to hit down. It will break your shield in 2 hits, or you can throw it and it'll potentially break it in 1.
Right.
Because it'll bounce off their shield a bunch. So if you if you're guarding, oops, too far away. So there's that. That'll break it, and then you can keep attacking. If you throw it, maybe it's only in EX3 that happens. It like bumps their shield a bunch of times.
Maybe it's at a range.
Yeah, I think it's...
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
So the farther away you are, yeah, so it does that.
Gotcha.
But it's a good shield pressuring move to kind of break them in the end if it hasn't already. Let's see. So a lot of her stuff is switching between B and A. So this first combo string that does nothing, if you end it with A, you can do all this junk. Oops, that's not what I want. In EX3, that second attack will hit.
Yeah.
In
Right.
this, it does not. The unfortunate thing about Tenten is if she's not in latent ninja powers or critical mode, she'll drop her weapons every time she gets hit. So in latent ninja powers, she'll hold on to them when she gets hit, which is good. Or it can be bad, depending on what tool you're holding. So,
Right. Yeah.
but anyway, so usually it's good with... oh, wait a minute. Does that actually hit people if you drop it like right over their head? It does.
Huh.
I never knew that.
That puts him in stagger too.
Yeah. So anyway, you'll probably want to just throw the sword at the end to get rid of it, because even if they get up, it's still safe on guard. It'll either push them back or they'll get hit by it. So it's just still a good, safe move to do. Her back strong brings out this pole, which honestly is not very useful. Does a ton of on the ground damage if you can manage it, but anyway, it's not
Right.
super awesome.
It's like better to throw, isn't it?
Yeah, it's much better to throw it.
Oh, yeah.
In
And it
EX,
can like eat projectiles too, right?
it
Like
can,
Fortnite and
yeah,
stuff?
yeah. And in EX3, it'll hit them on the ground a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that thing is busted in EX3.
I mean, it got 10 hits just there.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're gonna use the pole, it's just better to use weak and throw it rather than like go up in their face and use A to attack with it, because it's just
too slow.
it's too predictable.
Yeah.
Down A is a trap
I'll go with that.
that she'll bounce backwards. That's not what I wanted. So anyway, you can set that right on top of them and hit them for a lot of damage. It's a good bait. And it's also good to just like run up and use it, because sometimes they won't expect you to just like drop it on their shield. Which then leads into this spear. So if you don't press A again on her down strong, she'll just hold the spear. So you can swing with it. Or you can leap and throw it, but that is the slowest thing in the world.
Yeah.
It's really bad. Datara will punish that in a second. So anyway, you're going to want to be mashing A on this, because you'll flip them around. You see how many A moves there are? And then you can throw the sword at the end. Any of those moves, if you can get behind their shield, it becomes unblockable. So if you can kind of flip back and forth on a weird axis, you can sometimes just hit them and get around that.
They are all techable though. You can tech those hits.
Yeah, you can tech roll any of those. If you're mashing B either forward or backward, you can roll.
Yeah.
So, let's see here. What else does she have? So if you just do standing A, she'll pull out kind of a sword that you can swing. So it gives you 3 hits, but you can end it in weak, and then end in A. So you'll pull the chain, and then you can trap them with that. If you can hit them, it's hard to set the trap exactly where they're landing. So it just takes some practice to figure out. If you delay throwing the sword, she'll hit with her shoulder instead. So that's a weird thing to time. So I guess let's just go through the attack list. Okay. So there's that one. Yeah, so that's a good way to set the trap right on top of them, and then you can just spam the... That ends in the chain, so we talked about that one. She can also cycle through weapons, which is weird because if you keep mashing A, unfortunately you'll get stuck in a loop where you're just pulling out different weapons rather than attacking.
Right.
So, so that one's not as good. I mean, you can kind of throw some different things around, but in this game, it's not going to hit them because they're going to be on the ground. So. Yeah, because, see, I mean, you can switch between all 3 weapons doing that, but it's like, it's just not that great. She can't whiff anything. If you miss with something, you're just done.
Yeah.
So again, that sets the trap with only one move. But it doesn't put you in very good position, honestly. Okay, so this is that works in EX3, that combo. Yeah, but you're going to want to do that one instead. Because in EX3, you can pull out the sword and hit them on the ground, but it doesn't do a whole lot in this game. Let's see here. Oops. Yeah, so see, that pulls that out, but it's not that great. I usually will use that one by accident because I'm trying to do that.
Right.
So, if you already have a sword out, you can hit them, but you have to delay it. You can't just immediately hit or you'll whiff.
Huh.
You gotta wait like half a second, which, I mean, you can then do that and chain it into something else. So that one's pretty decent. Let's see, this is back. This will give you a chance to pull out some of the weapons if you want some space to get a certain tool, you know, or whatever. Okay, this one's a kind of a fun one that you,
Huh.
now in EX3, that does stupid
Pretty
damage.
much all of those will hit.
Yeah. So anyway, you can string that combo together to make something really long. So.
Nice.
So, but anyway, probably a better thing to do is just set the trap and leave it. Don't press A again to pull the spear out, unless they're already, like, somehow got caught by the trap. But, it's kind of hard to know whether or not that's going to happen. So, how many does she have? A lot.
A lot.
Okay.
Okay.
It's because of all the different weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so forward A again pulls out the two swords, which you can continue comboing with. Just kind of quickly run through these. Or you can just throw it. You can do it a quick advance and then just throw the swords with B to get away from them. Okay, so the trap, and then you can kind of keep going. This just immediately gets you into the spear, but it gives you a way out of it. Because then you can just quickly get away from it if you.
Can you do that out of the down A also? If you end with B? Oh.
Yeah, so that works. That's a good way to get out of it if you somehow are like, oops, I don't want to be in there.
Right.
It's just kind of a quick get out of there. Yep. Yeah, but anyway, you can kind of do 3 and then, oh, it's 4, but anyway.
Oh, yeah. You can do after each of the hits,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, because then it just keeps going, right? You can do more of them. So just get out of it. Yeah, so.
And then that one leads to the big sword.
Yeah. So anyway. So again, this is the pull. Oops. This is to get you to the sword and then throw the sword.
Gotcha, okay.
This is to get you to the last sword, and then you can attack with that. So, anyway. I mean, that's like the most useless move in the entire game because all you're going to be doing is sitting there fishing through weapons. So same thing, you're just fishing for specific weapons.
So it's not good just to do in the neutral.
You can get the
No.
chain that way, though. If you go through all of them.
Oh.
Yep.
You're right.
Useless.
The only surefire way to hit with the chain.
Yeah. Okay, so that's pretty much that. So the ones that you're going to want to focus on primarily, she can cancel this, which makes it a little less useless, because then you can have time to pull out whatever tool you want. Oops. Yeah. But again, you can't really like chain it together too much. Because you start getting on this weird, like, you have to stagger it down as they're falling with timing, and it's just like, eh.
Not worth it.
No, it takes way too much chakra for way too little damage. So there's that. Yeah, but then you can kind of, when they get back up, you can pressure their shield with this or whatever. So, let's see here. Mainly what you're going to want to focus on is B, then A, leading into this, and then, you know, throw the sword. So that string works pretty well. Up B string is the one another one you're going to want to focus on, because you can kind of get them close to you and then start doing the trap if you can hit them directly with it.
Oh, yeah.
May have been too far away.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really, on this stage is not great to try and do. Oops. Yeah, too early. So anyway, but you want to just kind of get in the mode of, while they're flying towards you, kind of run toward them and then set the trap about where they're going to be. You can either just set the trap or you can press A. It's really delayable. And then just, you know, spam the A. I'm not one for spamming, but Tenten's mid-air special is one of the most spammable things you can use. It gains chakra really, you know, it can be short hopped, it can be double tapped, so you can throw things at different angles. You can use it from really far away, and the power poles will, you know, do things like that. So it's actually really good for just a lot of quick damage. And I mean, you can be right in their face. It's also pretty safe on shield too, because if you hit them with all of it, it'll break their shield. So you hear it in there where it breaks the shield. So just short hop to special. Or it'll put them in stagger, which in 3-player, that's good because then somebody else can hit them. So and depending on the angle you're at, too, will kind of determine where some of this stuff goes. But anyway, if you're right up in their face, you can hit them with that. Or you can hit them with this one. It's not great on shield, but if they're still guarding, you can rush in and hit them.
Right.
So. But the cooldown on it, if you miss, is pretty high. So, So Tenten's not that deep of a character, I guess. There's a lot of mashing involved, and it's a lot of kind of switching back and forth between A and B depending on what type of combo you're using. And you can just mess with them because sometimes that'll go through their guard. Using the chain is really good to just run and try and hit them with that. It works pretty well. Yeah, the pull from a distance works pretty well. Because on their shield, it doesn't do a lot, but it pushes them back a ways. So the chain kind of has some weird properties where it'll like loop to where they are. So if they're in a weird position, it'll, like if they're really close to you, it'll like warp down and hit them. So I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing, but it's, I don't know. I think it's decent for maneuverability. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Yeah. So it's all right. So I wouldn't use the spear, like, at all. It's just one hit, and you can't even throw it immediately afterward. So mainly what you're going to be doing is, like, mainly like this combo. It's pretty much the same thing. And then that. So those are pretty much the things that you'll want to do. I don't know what all combo cancel or do things like that. I don't think that your chakra has to be full to do that. Yeah, it'll take your entire chakra gauge, but you can't do that, so. That's like if you're gonna win a round kind of thing, you'll want to do that one.
Yeah.
Because I don't think any of that can be canceled. I don't think any of that can be canceled. Well, maybe her running B can. No, doesn't look
No,
like
it
it.
doesn't land soon enough or something. Maybe that shoulder tackle move?
Yeah, the which one?
That like shoulder tackle move she does midway through that?
Yeah, that can be
Yeah.
canceled, it looks like.
I'm not sure the usefulness of that at all, though.
Yeah. So it's mainly just figuring out where the tools are, how to get to them, how to use them, and how to get rid of them.
Right.
Because you don't want to be hanging on to them forever. You'll take way too much damage because they're way too slow. So, and then...
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah. So she's got her normal throw, which you can then, you know, combo into special or whatever. But what's dumb is she doesn't keep the sword, which would be
Right.
helpful. So if you're gonna do that, you gotta wait.
That's interesting that she switches sides, though, too. If you can use that as a method to, like, corner people.
Right. Yeah. So, there we go.
Oh.
That's a good use for that.
That was really good.
So that's something that's useful.
Yeah.
But again, throwing people is kind of a good way to get to whatever tool you're looking for. So, and then the other thing that you'll want to do probably is her forward A, because it's good for getting around people's shields. So. And it'll kind of, if you hit them, it'll track them. Like, it'll turn around to the direction that they're facing. So. Oh, I guess you can cancel that.
Nice.
So that would be pretty useful to do. Oh, that's super lenient. Wow. You can, like...
the timing on it?
Yeah, you can, like, push back B and immediately press Y, and it'll cancel. So... Yeah, that's super lenient. So again, it's trying to figure out what to do with that. But anyway, so she can output a lot of damage if she can get going, but you kind of got to get going on these first few combos to get on a roll to start hitting people. So she's pretty interesting, I think. So I think she's kind of like mid tier, maybe upper mid tier, depending on what you do. So, but that's pretty much all there is to Tenten. There's not a whole heck of a lot to do past that, I think. 'Cause I don't think she has like she doesn't have a back special. She doesn't have a down special. She just has normal special and then mid-air special. So, she has paper bombs, which might help you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that might be something good to use if they're guarding, you know, to figure out how to... Because she can hold on to the tools and throw the paper bombs, too. So you can kind of leverage that. You can figure out some things in there. But that's kind of pretty much what you need to get going and master Tenten. So, all right, so we'll back out, and then you can do another one. So let me refresh the stream.
Who's going to fight?